Hello everyone, I'm gonna teach you how to make a pattern cuff. Like this if I sound sick. I know I'm gonna be using like an AI voice because I don't wanna like reveal my voice yet. But, you know, I'm gonna teach you how to make one of these. So first, I'm gonna show you what to do. Okay, so first what you'll need is you'll need pony beads. Now technically you could use like other beads, but I just recommend pony beads because these are the most like suitable for this project. And depending on how many you'll need, like just pick any color. But, you know, you can obviously go on Pinterest and look at color palettes to see like if you have those beads or similar to those beads and it look good with the color palette.
Did you know? Did you know that when you eating hamburger is getting less and less hamburger because you is eating hamburger?
Okay, the next thing you'll need are these little plastic needles. They're sewing needles, and you can get these from Amazon at 5i0, yeah, whatever. But these are just personally what I use, and don't use all of them because some of them are too big to go for the bead. Like either if it's the hoop on the top part, or it's like the bottom part. Like some are smaller, some are bigger, and some will work no matter what size. But it really depends. And obviously you'll need scissors for tutting like string or like tying or like when you're done tying stuff everything, then you'll just do that, okay? Then you'll just cut off the little piece of the string, but not the knot, just the string, and I will explain what to do next. Okay, so what you're actually gonna do next, this is only if you want like certain patterns and you don't want to make your own, or you can make your own on this, but it can be a bit difficult. It's called KandiPatterns.com. So after you did that, you're gonna look for a pattern. Like let's say I wanted this palm-knee cuff, then I could get the palm-knee cuff. And then I'll actually save that to a folder, because I might want that later. There are a lot of ads on here, I will not lie, but just adore them. So, yeah, just find which one you might want. And you can also find more, so I'm just gonna find a random one, and I will see you again when I find one. So I found my new cuff. I'm going to use this one. It's something cool about this website that most other candy pattern websites can't do, is that when you click on it, you can actually see the entire pattern, like numbers, like everything, see? So I'm just gonna go over what this all means, okay? But until then, you're just gonna like understand a bit. I'm gonna explain something. So if you're like not a beginner at multi-stitch cuffs, but you know how to make multi-stitch, right? You don't know how to make pattern cuffs though. You can skip this part, but I'm just gonna explain it for people who don't know how to make a multi-stitch or like a pattern cuff at all. Yeah, so like a little bit of both. But if you don't want to hear me just straight up the app, then don't listen. Just skip the video and I'll show you a timestamp. But until then, I don't have the full video out yet. So we're just gonna have to wait. Sorry for me yapping right now. Okay, so as you can see, there's actually a little. Okay, I'm already spoiled it all the way. As you can see, there's like these numbers, right? No, these numbers are actually really important. The reason why is because see how like there's like one of these named 1, and you know how like they're going up a bit. Well, here's the thing: all the ones are actually on one layer because of the multi-stitch. So basically, how to make a multi-stitch for the ones is just a straight up like single. So yeah, and when you make the single, I want you to remember something that like you have to, if you're trying to follow the pattern, try to put on the right color of beads, or at least beads that will be like this, because the reason why I'm doing this, let me move my screen a bit. The reason why you're doing this is because no matter like I'm going to be using these colors, which aren't even close, but let's say I did want to use these colors, or I didn't have enough. Like if I didn't have enough beads, I would use different colors. But if I have colors that I'm specifically using for this color, and like the colors that are already there. Now I'm just going to use the same ones that are here. It's hard to explain, but that's the best I can explain it. And also 2 is like the next layer, and you're only gonna put on 1 bead for each thing. If you think about it, a multi-stitch is like an edge space, but instead of edges, you can make more patterns with them like this. And if you can see a bit of the stitch, you can tell that this part, like the bottom part, is like a single. You can kind of tell. Yeah. And as you can see from the pattern, like as it goes, it's just gonna have more pattern parts to it. So like number 5 is going to start the pattern or something, like whatever it is. But yeah, let's just get started on to making the actual multi-stitch. One more thing that I'm going to mention that I forgot to mention, which just can go for people who are starting out and at least on the basics, is whenever you see a cuff, right? And it doesn't, and this just looks like this, and the cuff has like these extra white bits. That would mainly mean it's like sometimes if it's like outside of this part of the cuff and it doesn't look like it would fit, this is mainly transparency. But since this website doesn't have transparency, this is like the best you're gonna get for transparency. So you're just gonna have to sometimes guess, which I know is going to be a bit difficult, but you could also modify it a bit so that it can fit around your wrist. But that's not always 100%, so don't always like believe that. But other than that, just like think about it. Also, if you hear my TV in the background, I think I already mentioned this, but I do have TV in the background. I might have not mentioned this, but that was just important. So anyways, let's get into the making of it. String. First, depending on how much your cuff has, you have to like cut off amount of string. You get good amount of string. You probably can't see how much I have. Let me actually take off my arm warmers because I have to accidentally cut my focus, you know, and then I can actually put them back on when I'm like doing the tough more. I know I'm using a lot of string. I don't care. I have like 5 packets of them. I don't care. Next you're gonna make the bracelet part. So let's start. Remember, you can obviously tie on more string, which I don't remember how to do. I think it's like, never mind, I'll make a knot. So, you know what? Let's just get started. So get your beads. Remember, the white part is transparency, so I can't really do much about that. So let me check how many beads that is. I'm gonna need to modify this a bit, but it's okay. So, don't be afraid to modify unless the cuff, like, it just needs to fit. Then, yeah, you might have to just make a pattern similar to it. But you could also just copy, kind of copy it, and then make it your own and make it in your own size. But yeah, after you've made your single, you're then just gonna grab your cuff, and wherever it's closest to in the bead, just pull through it like this. Whichever, because your knot is gonna have string coming out of it. And also don't forget to cut off this shorter piece of string when you're done, then tying it off. And all you need to really do is just make a single. Next, I'm gonna check something. Okay, and then what you're gonna do next after you're done with that, you're gonna, so you see how you're now coming out of that, you're gonna skip 1 bead and go into the next bead. Then you're gonna tighten it a bit, and then it should look like that. So now, what you can do next, once you put on your last bead, you're gonna go through how you normally do, but then you're gonna go for the first top bead that you put on the second layer, which should be like these white beads or something. So, yeah, that's how you do it. And you're just gonna keep following that pattern, and remember to change colors when you do it. So, that is basically my tutorial on how to make pattern cuffs. I probably won't show the finished product unless I post about it. But thank you for watching, and also if you want to tie it, you have to go like, as an X basis, let me show you. Actually, you have to go like, under like, what are these, like, under this bead on the top. And then you tie it off, and then the say would go like this in a circle. Make sure it goes like in here. It's hard to explain, but that's basically how you tie it off. So, thank you for watching, and remember that whenever you see your pattern, it's going to have different layers, it's going to have different patterns. So, wherever you are about to do that pattern, just change the color. Anyway, bye.